And evil has awoken, an ancient race of subterranean creatures, shapeshifters, bent on infiltrating the deepest corners of our government. Their goal, to bring about pollution and global warming so they can claim the surface as their home. But their meddling doesn't go unnoticed, for something else is stirring. An imbalance in the natural order has alerted the great protectors of this world out of hiding and into the light. They are the Cryptoids. The war for the green planet has begun.
Oh, I'm feeling so much better, but now it's raining. So if you hear some background noise, it's that. I can't control the weather. I can't control when I'm going to get sick. I can't control what I talk about on here, and that's toys, because I'm Robo. This here's the rewind. Guess what we're going to start with? A little bit of classic Robo Don't Know. You know the story. We've been over this a million times. I've seen earlier seasons of My Hero Academia, but then I missed a little, and then you know how it goes. Well, what happened before that? Do I need to go back and watch some to catch up to here? And by the time I decide to either do that or not do that, there's another season out, and then suddenly I'm 2 seasons behind. Do I need to go all the way back to the first, but then skip a little bit of the Midoriya just crying about things and then get to the good stuff, but I know what's coming and it's not even, you know, a tale as old as time. So no, I do not know what is going on with this Bandai SH Figuarts My Hero Academia Overlay Deku. So I was prepared to get up here and just make jokes about, oh, look, it's Midoriya with the Venom symbiote. Turns out that's kind of what it is. From the way my son explains it, and he even gave a name for it, but I already forgot, and he's at work. So it shoots out like webbing, but the more Deku loses control of his emotions, the more it kind of flares out and starts being its own thing. So yes, very much like the Venom symbiote, right? But it does add a lot of visual flair. We know Midoriya. There's the green, there's the reds, there's his costume. But you overlay it with a bunch of black goo, and it has tentacles coming out, and it's covering his face. Okay, especially when he's facing off with Shigaraki. Again, I do not know the reason for Shigaraki having the white hair and the flesh skirt thing, but it's a nice flipping of color scheme. You know, there's the hero, there's the villain, but this is in white, this is in black. This one's looking a bit sinister, this one's looking slightly angelic. But from what I understand, it's nothing like that. It's just visual. This picture goes way too hard though. This is one of those photos that you look at and think, I have no clue what this figure is based on, and yet I am strangely compelled to buy it. Never underestimate the power of a pretty promotional picture. Next up, here is the Frazetta Girls Icon Collectibles Fire and Ice Nekron, who has been teased over the past month or so, and finally we get the full photo spread. And still not having seen the movie, I feel like this guy, it's kind of creep factor, right? That haircut, the length of the, just the way he sits in the throne like this, no, stop. And wait a second, stop. That's the MASH theme. That's not a sexy movie theme. But we need a villain for our heroes to fight. And what's more villainous than a short bathrobe and seductive eyes? Then the included throne is pretty damn sweet. Again, it leads to photos that... But there's other poses. You could just do whatever you want. Cross his legs, have him standing on it, have him standing behind it. Just more for the fire and ice display. That's what it comes down to. It took me a minute to realize that the robe is soft goods. It's fairly obvious, but you know, your eye is drawn to other things in some of these pictures. Am I going to keep harping on that? Yes. Just... But again, it works for sitting in the throne. It's Nekron, some classic animation brought to you in plastic form. Man, it just takes you to a bygone time, doesn't it? Did Boss Fight Studios tease an Epic H.A.C.K.S creature wave? If they did, I missed it completely. I just saw the pictures and thought, wait, who? This? Oh, that? Yep. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the Frankenstein's monster / undead creature, I thought it's very similar to the Four Horsemen version, especially the color scheme. But then I realized, oh, well, it's for two different customer bases. You know, you have your Frankenstein's monster if you do Legions, and now this will skew more towards 1/12 scale, something that'll fit in with your Marvel Legends or your other lines. And just like some of their other Epic H.A.C.K.S, they are marketing this as a duality. Like, you can use it as Frankenstein's monster, but you can also use it as a zombie. Just swap some parts, swap some pieces, done. Like, swap in the fur vest, the feet wraps, the hair, boom, Frankenstein's monster. Take all that off, swap some things, and you have an undead creature. Or mix and match. Make whatever you want. They're your toys. Because the same thing goes for the creature's CGT Combat Drone Agile Battle Robot. Stripped down, it has that skeletal type look, which is leaning into the creature name. Then there's some swappable heads, some add-on armor pieces, some weapons. You can really go sci-fi with this. I mean, of course it's a robot, it's sci-fi, but it's up to you on how far you want to go with it. And this feels like something that could come out in a lot of colorways, like throw a robot into every wave. I mean, even the standard Epic H.A.C.K.S. Here's a robot with blue armor or purple or resculpted in places just to change things up a bit. Sky's the limit. Along that same creature vein, saying it like that is odd, isn't it? Anyway, since we're in this territory, the Yes Have Some podcast crew is going to do a Kickstarter next year for Cryptoids War for the Green Planet. They're starting the teases now with short little videos and revealing the first character, Mothman the Prophet. Now, Mothman's not real high on my list of cryptids. I don't have a mental image. I've heard it a lot, and I have a general idea, but not the basis for the myth or the legend or general look. Now I do. It has that mix of moth and man, hence Mothman. Where am I going with this? There does seem to be a slight cartoony slant to this, which is not a bad thing. That's not me griping. But it does make me picture it in certain displays, maybe of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle variety. That's just going by this, out of context with the rest of the line, because according to the teasers and such, we may be seeing lizard people, Bigfoots. Oh, Bigfoots. I love Bigfoots. It's called Cryptoids, so I'm assuming there's more characters coming. They've also shown a shadow variant of Mothman, and you put something in all black and I'm there. I'm all over that, but in this case, I think I still prefer the main Mothman. Those colors are just so vibrant, especially with the design. It just works. It really does. And I haven't read everything, so I don't know if the midsection is glow in the dark or if there's LED in there. I have to do more research. I'm sure more information is going to come out the closer we get to the Kickstarter next spring. So still quite a wait, but isn't that how we get all good things? I guess there's a theme this show, at least up until this point, because here's the Ramen Toy Bad to the bone. Yes, it's recognizable to you old school Masters of the Universe collectors, but at the same time, this could also double as a haunted skeleton of a dragon that is just trying their best to protect their treasures or something, even after death. But if you are getting a nostalgia tug, the ribs are swappable with clamps to put figures in to transport them off into battle. This is one of those vintage toys, or this is based, or not based on a vintage toy of some kind. They just randomly put Masters figures in these promotional images. But even back in the day, this was one of those I looked at and thought, in a universe where they have sky sleds and wind raiders, even dragon walkers, this seems slow. This is kind of the school bus of the Mo2 high school. It's just kind of maybe up walls every now and then just to get up the cliff up to someone's house and just, okay, mechanic, this is your stop. That's just some of the wacky 80s hijinks to be had with design concepts from that era. I do have to say I'm impressed with the amount of movement the backbone and the tail gets around. So again, if I were to get this, it would probably just be a cool skeleton for the display somewhere. Because it is kind of big. It took me a minute to realize these are Masterverse figures in here, which they may be able to just stand up and carry the skeleton, but it'd probably look pretty good with Origins. More massive. Carry the figures up. Or maybe a storage piece. Clamp them all in, hang the head on the wall. There's options. No pre-order just yet though. Coming soon. Same thing goes for the Ramen Toy CAG 2.0. Now I got the canopy and guns for my McFarlane Toys '89 Batmobile, and oh, it just changes the profile. It makes it so much better. Not only does it fix the high window look, it makes the color darker, because on mine anyway, it was that light gray color where the car was more of a matte black. Soon you'll be able to upgrade it even more, because in order to change out the canopy, you take out the cockpit itself, the seats, the dashboard, the steering wheel, and Ramen Toy is making a replacement for that. So much detail with the buttons and switches and levers. And then the proper 2 seats. But in these images, they are using the SH Figuarts Batman, which does run slightly smaller. Not too much smaller, but even then, you can see that the shoulder kind of hangs over here. It may be a bit troublesome to fit a second figure into the passenger seat, but the look, the aesthetic is upgraded, and that's the point of CAG 2.0. While we're swinging through the Batman universe, here is the third party, Muff Toys 6 inches Chaos 003 Jagger the War Leader. From what I understand, Muff Toys makes a damn good base body, so why not use that for... Okay, they are unlicensed characters, but they do a good job of it. Before we get into it, I will point out that the pants do seem kind of plain, but they do their job. They cover legs and private bits, and the rest is just exposed. It's the body itself. Got the spiked bands on the wrists and the ankles, the bare feet, the musculature. And that's what caught my eye first here, is the muscles, the body itself. It's so good looking. But then there's the skin tone, and oh, okay, they pretty much nailed that too. There are options to change things up. There's 3 heads, 1 stoic, 1 smiling, 1 screaming. There's 2 mohawks, and then there's the Cyclops goggles. I'm not sure if it's magnets or what, but between all of those accessories, you can spruce this up however you want. Most importantly, there are the metal stud nipples. It has to be magnets, right? Surely it's not adhesive to just stick these on and the mohawk. That's the 2 that I'm kind of like, there's no peg hole. It has to be. It's magic magnets. Besides that, there's a couple of chains, the torch, the crowbar, some hands. Even if you don't have a Muff Toys Batman, it seems like this would just be a nice counterpart to any of your Dark Knight Returns Batmans. Or if you want to put this in the DC universe. If not, that's cool too. Just throw it anywhere you want. Maybe he could be a Star Wars bounty hunter, which brings us awkwardly to this week's Hasbro Star Wars Black Series reissues. First is the gaming great Scorch, which I have seen some positivity over. I'm not a big Republic Commando guy. I wasn't invested in these characters the first time around, so I don't know how fast that went, how well it sold. I do remember people griping about the actual size, and yes, compared to the game, the original game, it is lacking in bulk. But then in Bad Batch, I think it was, the Republic Commandos were shown to be slightly smaller. And it could also be argued that Black Series takes the designs from the original media and then puts it through a filter in order to fit in with the rest of the line. But this is marketed directly as Republic Commando. It would have been nice to have a bigger option, kind of lumbering look. Then they're also reissuing the gaming greats General Grievous, and I can't do it. I have no positivity for this figure. I think I've always said that if you are in dire need, like your only way to have a Grievous on the shelf is the Black Series, then yes, go ahead and get it. But it does have its negatives. It seems small. It's not as mobile as I feel like it should be. It's hard to stand. It just kind of pisses you off the more you mess around with it. But also up to this point, the only other option has been the model kits, and I understand why some people don't want to jump into that. It can be a bit intimidating opening that box and it's just a bunch of parts and pieces and you have to put together yourself and then weather. So yeah, I get it. Now we have the SH Figuarts on the horizon. Hopefully at some point on the horizon sometime in the future. And with this being $43, it's not that huge a jump to just spring for the Bandai. Yes, the price is higher, and depending on how things are going to be when that ships, there may be an extra charge, but well, I'm assuming the Figuarts is going to be great too. Maybe it's a floppy mess. Who knows? Someday we'll be able to go, the best Grievous is this one. Until then, it's all up in the air. There's also a reissue on the Hasbro Marvel Legends side of things with the MCU Mark III Iron Man. Yes, I was trying to keep all those words in the right order as I was going along. It's not McFarlane, but it's still kind of no. Why'd I go there? Like the MCU Captain America and Spider-Man we've been seeing on shelves for a good long while now, Iron Man's on his way, which can be perceived as a bad thing. Oh, peg warmers, it's taking up space. But at the same time, maybe people jumping into the line need a Captain America or a Spider-Man or an Iron Man. Plus, it holds that spot. Kinda, maybe, I don't know. Is that how it works? Walmart's like, oh, Marvel Legends is still here? Okay. Are we getting any new stuff if we don't have that big collector's corner end cap thing in the middle of the aisle? No? Okay. But then to finish it off, there is the Mezco 1/12 Collective Marvel the Leader. I think they showed this off at New York Comic Con, and then I was like, oh, it's the Leader. I like the Leader, all right. The big green head, the orange, the yellow, the tie look. Like, had to put something random in between the straps and thought, let's go with a black line. Plus there's the nostalgia of it, the classicness. It's the Leader. It's such a opposite of the Hulk. Hey, smart little guy fights big raging monster. But again, good guy, bad guy. I didn't realize I bookended this episode with that concept. But when it comes down to it, it is just a green-skinned, big-headed guy in an orange and yellow costume. And even the presentation here, with a few gadgets, a couple of facial expressions, it doesn't do a lot to spruce it up. It doesn't get me excited to buy another Leader. Now, if you're Mezco 1/12 Collective only, then yes, here's your Leader. Just had Hulk. There you go. But for me, who mixes and matches and throws in and looks at other toy lines as upgrades to some of the things I have, when I saw this on my computer screen in the office, I looked directly over and there's the Marvel Legends Leader. And I thought, well, okay, the Mezco's skin tone is a bit more realistic. And then, of course, there's the popping of my ankle because I'm old. Costumes are similar. I do kind of like the invention things, the head, but is that worth another $116? Whereas with the Hulk, I thought, well, okay, maybe this is the body I've been waiting for. Short, stout, stubby, thick, head looks, but here we go. But more than all of that, when I saw this picture, I thought, well, in the Mezco grand scheme of things, Hulk at $140 seems like a deal. Oh, it's still a chunk of change. There's no denying that, especially compared to a Marvel Legends Hulk. But Leader at $116, Hulk at $140. Okay. My path is clear. Maybe somebody will get rid of an alternate Leader head down the line and I can snag it to put on my Marvel Legends just to kind of upgrade it, you know? It doesn't always have to be the whole body. I can use parts. And that's all I have for this week. We're rolling into the holidays, so things may slow down a bit. Oh, no, there's a couple shows coming up, right? We'll see. If I missed anything, we'll swing back around. As always, special thanks to the Nobots and the Nobodies, the Patreon and the channel membership. This week was a light week. Again, I was getting over sickness and I only had one video go up. So I do have some play day sneak peeks going up on the Patreon. I'm still making my way through classic villains, Marauders. Oh, man. I got the bug after being in bed for a few days. I got the bug after having a bug. Either way, I've been painting some, piecing together some parts. Some I'm happy with, some not quite, but it'll work for now. Because I found myself on eBay looking at more heads, planning future customs, and no. How about we finish some things up that I have on the table at the moment, clear that table so my work areas will be a bit more manageable, and then buy more stuff. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes part of the process is piling more things on. At least in my case. I feel like, oh no, too much stuff. Need to get some out. I've knocked the top off this hill. I better shovel more onto it. But that's all part of the fun. That's how I do it. You may do it different. That's fine. As long as you're not miserable. That's what matters. So, and if you are miserable, quit spreading it to everybody else.